The devastating results of the worst drought and famine to ravage the Horn of Africa in decades. For pastoralist communities, the death of cattle due to lack of pasture and water is the end of families' incomes. Those cattle remaining are malnourished and sickly, in danger of dying at any moment. Residents of the village of Funankumbi in northern Kenya are not waiting for their cattle to die. The animals are being slaughtered and their meat distributed to the area's most vulnerable families through a European Commission-funded program that buys their cattle at higher than market prices. 20 of Abdub Goyo's 30 animals died because of the drought. Today, he has sold 2 goats.
I thought it was wiser and better to sell my goats rather than lose them to the drought.
Benoit Colin, the European Commission's Disaster Risk Reduction Coordinator, says the program gives the villagers a good price for their livestock.
Then they have some earnings, and they have been able to use these earnings for water trekking, for food, buying the food for the families, and etc.
This is one of many initiatives that local communities, through donor support, are taking in advance to reduce the impact of drought and famine. At the Kinisa dispensary 2 hours away, malnutrition rates among children are lower than the average in other famine areas. Head nurse Adan Sake says his clinic started following a 12-point intervention when early warning signs became apparent.
We usually deworm children after every 3 months. We provide vitamin A supplementation. We also give zinc tablets for diarrheal cases. We also promote breastfeeding. Exclusive breastfeeding to mothers. We encourage supplementation of micronutrients. We provide hygiene services. This is a part of the interventions that is containing the situation.
Since the beginning of the year, health officials have also held mass screenings of village children to look for and treat signs of malnutrition. In northern Kenya, communities are sometimes at war with one another over resources or other issues. Duatu Elea, an elder in Funankumbi, is chairman of the village's Disaster Risk Reduction Committee. With donor support, he says, his Borana community held negotiations with the Gabra community and agreed to share pasture, water, and other resources to reduce the impacts of drought.
Everyone was so tired of war. The effect is just disastrous. Although we fight, we have a lot in common with this community. There are intermarriages, we are in marginalized areas, we have the same religion.
Communities in dry areas have many ways of coping with drought. Neighbors share resources. Pastoralists move their animals up to hundreds of kilometers away looking for pasture, and food is rationed in emergency situations. Safia Abdi, a program officer for the aid group CordAid, says most communities have what she calls traditional early warning systems, where they know in advance when there is going to be a drought. She says they can tell by examining the contents of animal intestines and gazing at the stars.
Will be bad. They can also look at general animal behavior. So like if the animal moves or faces one side or when they make certain noises, they know that it's going to be bad drought.
Abdi says the most successful programs are those in which communities get donor support to fund their own ways of coping with drought, as in the case of Funankumbi and Kinisa.
So you can see organizations like Concern with their outreach projects here, health outreach program. You can see CordAid and SIFA coming in with the destocking, where they benefit from the meat. And you can see the tanks here, so they get access to water. So being prepared in terms of even having that plan, I think is a plus for the community here.
Plans to make the best of a bad situation until the rains come. Cathy Majtenyi for VOA News, Moyale District.